Greetings, this is Ron.
This is Fellonius, and we are the guys who are chapping. This is episode 6.
Yes, this is episode 6, and it's going to be kind of a bonus episode where instead of us each bringing a random mystery topic to get each other's point of view, we're taking topics from the last 5 episode comments from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're actually going to do 3 of them. And these were chosen by Bongotez, Rockabilly, and CPM 4001, not in any particular order.
Not mentioned in any particular order, but we might actually do them in that order you just said. We will see.
Oh, okay.
I got the honors, and actually I want to talk about dogs.
Okay.
Because that's a very good topic, actually. Well, let's start with the first thing. Cats. Are you a cat man or a dog man?
I grew up with cats. Cats are much easier. However, I have 2 people in my family allergic to them, so we've had dogs for the past 20 years, I think.
Yeah, but you are a cat person.
At heart, I think so, yeah.
Then I will give you a big advice. There isn't anything that separates you. You can love both dogs and cats because dogs and cats are not alike at all.
Well, I think I would say...
We all know that.
I think I would say there is a subset of dogs that I really like the kind that I have, which are Labrador Retrievers. They are easy dogs. I don't like little barking ankle biters. I don't like big slobbery hairy dogs. I don't like
Saint Bernards.
I don't like vicious dogs. Whereas to me, cats are all cats. They're just small
and they are not yours to keep because they go to the next neighbor and get more food if you don't give them enough. That's the big difference between cats and dogs, actually, because dogs, you own a dog, and the dog is actually very thankful that you are owning him. He really loves that. A cat, well, if you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, it's fine. Otherwise, just to go over to the neighbor and see what they can do. I would say even that a rat is even better than a cat to have as a pet.
Okay.
Yes. Why, you may think? Well, first of all, we all know that both mice and rats are good at being trained at doing things. And they're also very good survivors, both types. Mostly rats, of course, but still even mice. Cats, well, they are doing their bit, of course. But as pets, you need to pet them, right? And the rat actually loves to be in your pocket and in your side, everywhere. He wants to be with you. He loves that. He's just like a dog.
Yeah, but
I've heard.
But I think a rat, you can't train it to poop in a certain place, so he'll just poop right in your pocket, or as he's walking around, poop will just fall out.
Worries. Just keep him in this cage till he's pooped finished. There is one thing I've just recently read, and this is actually more... that now I'm getting into a problem, because I think that this goes for cats as well. But dogs is supposedly knowing more of our language, different language in different countries, of course, but they know more of our different languages, words, than we actually knew from the beginning. They know more words than we believe.
I definitely think that they very easily recognize when you say a word more than once. And they know that if I say go for a ride or walk, or if I say go to the vet or something, then our dog Nugget knows exactly what I'm talking about and will go to the door or whatever. But
or creep into his cage because it was the vet you're talking about. Yeah.
But at the same time, I think if the TV was playing and someone on TV said that, I don't think he would go. I think there's
probably not.
Some either odor or verbal body language that goes along with it.
Or it has to be the master or the masters. But I think cats can do the same thing. They can also learn a lot of words, but they are more choosing on which words to learn, so to speak. But I mean, we are talking about like not like 20 words for a dog. It can be up to 400 words they can recognize and separate between.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a big one. And that brings me back to, you always talk about the stupid dog and the clever cat, right? Well, somewhere in between you have to get back to the basics. I mean, a dog that can almost understand as much as a 2-year-old, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Actually, so I'm of course as a dog person, so I always keep them. Cats, well, cats like me, but I don't like cats. And I don't talk to them, but I don't talk to many dogs. And what I've learned by this is that I shouldn't talk to other dogs that isn't mine, because they might actually understand me. That's creepy.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe we've been lucky, or maybe it's the breed, but like I feel like the dogs that I've owned, and the current dog I own, is like extremely smart and has a bit of cat in him, which is to say that he will choose when he obeys what you say to him and when he doesn't.
Yeah, but that's part of it.
Yeah, he knows who's the master, but he will push the boundaries as far as he can.
Yeah, but he's still just a young dog. What is he? A year?
A year and a half now.
Yeah.
But
so he's coming up to being puberty. So yeah, that's right.
So yeah, dogs can be smart. Like he uses. I think dogs know how to use tools.
Yes, I think so too.
It's not in the traditional sense because they don't have hands, but my dog, for example, we have a bone and it's hollow, in the middle where the marrow used to be.
Okay.
So you can stuff a treat in there and it will stay just out of his reach, or just in his reach that he could get his little tongue in there. And he will, sit and chew the bone and walk around with it for a long time, keep him busy. But he has learned that if he drops the bone on the carpet, the treat's not very likely to come out. But if he walks over to the tile by the front door and drops the bone on the hard ceramic tile, the treat is likely to come out. And so, I mean, very clearly knows the difference between different types of flooring, and I think he uses that as a tool.
Absolutely. And he has his paws on the floor, so he knows when it's soft and not soft.
Oh, yeah.
You see. Oh, he's a clever one.
Yeah.
Now, a cat will only wait until you give them the treat.
Probably.
They don't bother with the work. Why should they? You should just obey. That's all. Right. That's a nice story about little Nugget. Now, my last dog, that was Princess. She was just about this, but she used other stuff to get her. She was actually throwing her bones.
Okay.
But I did some paper rolls and stuff and used them instead. So he had to chew them apart.
Well, this is the weirdest thing that Nugget does, and I don't know where he learned this, but this is a total learned behavior. He has a certain ball that he likes to chase around the house.
Yeah.
And I could stand in one room, throw it down the hall, it will roll into a far room, so he gets a good run out of it.
Yeah.
But he will not go and chase the ball with an empty mouth. He has to pick up one of his other toys, carry it over there, and then he has to pick up both toy and the ball in his mouth at the same time, and he'll drop one and then pick it up until he gets them both in there, and then he comes back.
He takes forever.
Yeah. And he won't just go. He always has to have two toys in his mouth when he goes to fetch. It's like he's got an imaginary friend or showing us. I mean, if he could get 3 toys in his mouth, if his mouth was that big, I think he would carry all his toys at once. And I've never seen any other dog do this behavior before.
No, I have never seen that either.
Yeah.
He's a unique one. And can you ever see a cat carrying two things at once?
No,
No, you
no, no.
can't.
Yeah. So dogs are smart. I'm not surprised that they can learn 400 words. It sounds like a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, but this might be the extreme, of course. But
Yeah.
I guess that most dogs have the ability to learn more, but we are not giving them the opportunity. We are only giving them 5 or 6 commands. I suspect that was Bongo Tess who gave us that thing. I bet that Bongo knows more about this things. He owns pretty much a lot of dogs as well. But yeah, up to a 400 words and different type of languages. It's the same goes for Russian or Danish or whatever. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well,
So
okay.
another topic we have. So this one was Rockabilly, and one of his comments he said, "What about advances in technology and the little things that have changed but might go unnoticed?" So I actually have been thinking about this topic for weeks since
That
we
that
posted
yes,
this.
but this needs almost a definition question mark thingy.
And I've had situations where, like, let's say I'm cooking something in the kitchen and I pick up the potato peeler, for example.
Yeah, yeah,
And the potato peeler that we have today, the handle and the way the blade is shaped is in a certain way that makes it very easy. Whereas I remember, a potato peeler that I had as a kid that maybe was just a straight handle and a straight blade, and it was
yeah,
always getting caught or something. I feel like there's a lot of little examples of things that go unnoticed. Light bulb
Absolutely.
technology,
Oh yes,
like
but
tons of
that
things.
the light bulbs today, we're using LED lamps over here, and that
Yeah.
is something that has been brought to us not from the manufacturers. This is an environmental thing, so the government has been into this, so it's not unnoticed.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where I spent a lot of time, is like trying to think or notice technology that's been unnoticed
Yeah.
that you would take for granted. And one thing that doesn't maybe quite qualify, but one thing that I was thinking about was when I was a kid, I knew about this technology, but I didn't use it. I don't think I would use it even today, called a diary.
Okay. Diary. Okay.
Right? So the act of writing down your personal thoughts, feelings, what you did that day, whatever.
Yes. Yes.
And maybe keeping it secret. And
Yeah,
I don't
right.
know if people ever go back and read their old diaries, or
I do.
so you had a written diary?
I have made different types of written diaries, and because of the computer, suddenly I'm doing it on the computer in a normal text document with the table and all that.
Okay.
And I'm also trying to do, not now, at the moment I don't write it, but when I was sick in 2015, this was actually a very good way of seeing how I developed and how the sickness suddenly became better and better, and how I debated with others about it, and I put what the doctor said and all that. And when I went back and read it again, it feels like, yes, this is the movement. It went towards being healthy again. I have also used my diaries to, well, old friends and all that stuff, and when I read about them, some of them I don't remember at all. That's totally useless information.
Okay.
Technologically, I haven't developed more going from pen and paper to computer.
Because what I was thinking of is YouTube and vlogs and this
Ah!
new technology that so as I walk around in my day to day, I look at the world and I think, should I film it with my phone? Should I take a quick snapshot and maybe put it in a vlog? And
People do it.
I do this all the time, even though I don't necessarily make a lot of vlogs on a regular basis. But I feel like I feel like vlogging for many, many people is filling the need that written diaries used to fill.
Oh, that's one thing that I didn't notice. That's true. And we have the Instagram where you put all your pictures and all that.
Twitter.
Twitter, if you want to be. But Twitter is more a thought.
Well,
it's not. I ate bread today. I mean,
I guess
that in Twitter.
I mean, that's like a lot of people tweet pictures of what they ate, where they went. I'm shopping here. I'm here. I just bought this. Yeah. You know, even our Minecraft videos, it wasn't necessarily a diary of our lives, but a diary of the story we were playing.
Yes, and what we were doing at the time. I mean, when you and I were at our top priorities doing the reviews, we had a lot of videos out just for the reviewing part. And now we don't have it.
And I think I am actually, like this moment right now, I am less likely to keep a written diary than I ever would have before. I feel like if I'm going to actually take the time to document something that occurs, I want to put it out so other people can share it. And it's not.
Yeah.
So it's I think technology has made me less likely to keep a private record and more likely to keep a public record of things.
But that's always a bit of a tricky one because you don't know who's reading what.
Yeah, I just thought that was a weird thing that
it went actually from a handwritten secret with locks on. I've never seen one of them, but I heard about them.
Oh yeah.
I used just plain old books, writing books from school. I didn't bother.
And particularly kids today, I think, are way more apt to just pop on their webcam and start recording whatever comes to their mind and are very unlikely to keep any sort of diary.
But on the other hand, they are taking everything. And it doesn't have to be important. When you had a written diary, you only write down the things that is important to you from that day. Or at least that was my thought about it. If nothing had happened, I didn't write anything that day. Well, perhaps something about what I saw on telly or something. Or perhaps how many degrees it was outside, what kind of weather. But that's so boring. You don't do that more than a week and then you end it.
Yeah, it's like, would you ever go back and reread the diary of what temperature it was every day?
Never. I doubt it. But if there is any, I know that I marked some days, especially with some red ink, because I want to see that. If you're going to go through these diaries, those ones are the ones that the only one you need to read, actually. But let's face it, if I'm going to write down anything from today, from this day, I would most likely do as you say, take a picture of it, if there's anything special that has happened. Or perhaps do a vlog, as you said.
Yeah,
that's true. Interesting. Otherwise, I would say most technology is just small improvements of already existing.
Yeah, I think the more fine and intricate that we can machine different tools, or the more types of plastic that we can invent to make a tighter house wrap that goes under your siding and keeps the moisture out.
We don't see that. We don't bother with it.
Yeah, you only come to know those things when you're, having your house built or something.
But there are small details that I don't notice because I don't buy a new car. Let's take the new car. The first thing I noticed, something that I needed but didn't know that I needed, was heated rear view mirrors. I didn't know that cars could have that. I bought an older Mitsubishi, a very old Mitsubishi, and it had heated rear view mirrors. And I was going, what the heck is this?
You mean the side mirrors or the one that's in the middle
the
of
side
your dash?
mirrors. Yeah, no, that one is inside. It's heated already. But the one's outside. And I was going, whoa! And suddenly someone said, well, that has been here for at least 20 years. No kidding. Had no idea. I would have wanted it for 20 years, but why didn't I search for it during those 20 years?
That's a good example because I mean I can think of 100 things in the car that I notice, but I never. You're right. There's a little squiggly symbol on the mirror in the corner of the mirror that.
You have it as well, or I don't know if this is on every new car from 1999 and forwards. I don't know, but it feels like I missed something that I needed back then, and I didn't go and fetch the car until it was almost dead. Car. It was only one summer, so it was a summer car.
Wow. So
now those things.
So everyone listening to this should go out to your car and do a vlog about your mirrors.
Yes, you do it on Instagram and on Twitter.
Yes.
Absolutely. And talk to your dog meanwhile. Learn him 20 new words as well.
But
we had one more topic, didn't we?
Okay.
CPM 4001, and his always interesting topic is always the same as well, and it's trains.
Okay.
Ron, you don't go by train, you go airplanes.
Well, if I go downtown to my office, I have about an hour, 10-minute train ride each way.
Train. That's a subway.
Well, no, it's a train. It's a it's a commuter train, commuter rail, and
it's the L train.
No, it's different. No. The L train is more like an elevated subway. This is more like 10 cars and an engine, a proper engine, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just gonna say I probably take it maybe once a month, once every 2 months, something like that.
Yeah, but you do go by rail sometimes at least.
Yes.
Well, I was wondering, I had one dream once for many years back when I saw a movie with Gene Wilder. I'm not totally sure what it was called, Silver Bullet or something like that.
Okay.
In English. It was something about the straight way to Chicago or something. They were taking the Silver Bullet to Chicago and everything went wrong on that train. And I was thinking, going on trains in the United States of America, going from east to west coast, going north route and south route. Mm-hmm. Well, there isn't anything like that, right?
I imagine that there's a network of freight trains.
Exactly.
So where we live, the Metro trains. Oh, okay, actually, no. I'm going to take back what I just said. So where I live, I go on what's called the Metro train, and I think every state, every big city calls it something different.
Yeah.
My trains are, if you think of like a spider web, where Chicago's in the middle, and then there's a bunch of lines that go straight out from there, probably 50 miles, and then stop. And it's just to get people in and out of the city.
Yeah.
And so that's one kind. But then there's Amtrak, which I believe crosses the country up and down, left and right.
Yeah.
I believe there's... And I don't know if you can get on a single train and go all the way across, or if you have to get off and on at different stops. But
if I'm now, CPM would probably kill me because I don't know this. He's historical, so he said that. But Amtrak was something they tried to do in the 80s in order to get people to move from city to city.
Okay.
They needed to get away people from the roads. But let's face it, if you're trying to go between, let's say, New York and Washington on the east side, there are not many trains that goes between those two cities, and there are different types of railway companies who is doing it. The main problem from Amtrak was that they didn't own any track at all. They didn't own any railway. That was the Western companies or whatever they was called. That's when CPM is going to kill me. He knows every line because they were different lines in different states and in between different states.
Okay.
And these railways, they are all over the country, but to up to 98%, they are only used by freight trains.
Yes, I would say that's probably true nowadays.
Now, 98%. I mean, come on. I'm living in a country where freight trains runs at night if they are lucky.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a very small country. Sweden is not big. It's long, of course. It's like 220 kilometers or miles or whatever. I don't remember. But it's long. And you have to go by train mostly because we don't have that many airports.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every city doesn't have its own airport. They are too small to have it, even if they're trying to. So train rides is natural, and the same goes for all of Europe. I mean, we could bum around on trains. You could get on one in Copenhagen and just leave it in Paris and then go to Budapest. You could do that. You can still do it. But in America, United States of America, you probably had to go on the Greyhound bus.
You can. So I was just looking up stuff. You can go across the U.S. and it looks like the cheapest that you can do it is about $200 to go.
Okay.
Now, what I don't know is how long that will take. I'm gonna look this up.
Or let CPM tell us.
Yeah, but I have.
But it's
I've
amazing.
I've only once. Just thinking back while you were talking, like I've been on a train from New York to I think Philadelphia.
Yeah,
and that was the morning after 9/11. I was in New York during that time, and there was no way for us to fly out. There was no way for us to drive out. They had the bridges closed.
No. Yeah.
So the only way we could get out was to take a train to somewhere, and then rent a car and then drive from there. So that's the only other train that I can think of that I've ever been on.
You see, it's so amazing to me that the only trip you could go were to Philadelphia. You couldn't go all the way home to Chicago.
I mean, maybe we could have if we would have figured out a series of...
but
I don't know.
It wasn't natural to just go up to the ticket counter and say, I want a ticket to Chicago.
No.
Because you had to have at least 3 different lines involved in that one. And perhaps you had to wait for a couple of freight trains to pass first.
And I also think, like, America, the middle of America is so plain and just endless fields. It would be pretty boring to...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know how long it would take to go across.
Hopefully it is available, because it would be... Well, I'm not really into it at the moment because I don't really feel like I have the time. But still, I've thought that you had at least 50-50 between people and freight. But thinking about it, it's really logical that you leave the freight lines to use the railways and then use cars and planes for the people. Buses, I should say. Buses and planes. Yeah. Because you have these long distances. And then I also hear from other people, they don't even go outside their neighborhood if they don't work there. They don't go anywhere. They don't go on holidays and stuff. Some are going to Disney World or to
Yeah, but you would drive or fly. You would never think. You just wouldn't think to take a train.
Exactly. Because that's not part of the culture you have. And it is logical when you're thinking about it. But first I read about that. I thought, no, not big old America. You are the train country of the world. God damn it. Yes, freight train. Yes. I think about Rocky Mountains and the trains that went through there, the steam engines and all that. And two companies were meeting in the middle of the United States and connected east and west. You know the history. It's so breathtaking.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can't go by train.
and actually, so I'm looking at some Amtrak websites and things, and it looks like I'm sure there are more, but it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6 east to west lines that you can go. You can either go through North Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, or Texas, but in between there's a lot of empty space. There's only a few lines that actually go across.
So you can't take the Chattanooga choo-choo.
That would be for me. That would be almost going straight south to go through Tennessee. So and that would take me down to New Orleans. But
that also shows us a bit of the cultural differences. We are Western countries, both Europe and the United States, but that's the tiny space we have in Europe. We have allowed the personal carrier trains to go, but you have more use of the freight trains, and they are probably even more worth for the companies because they make more money of it. But still, you need to freight everything, and if you should carry every freight on a plane, it would cost immensely much more money. So you're doing actually the right thing if you're doing it. The freight trains 98% or whatever. I thought that was awesome.
And if you've listened to enough of Fellonius and I talking in various series along the years, you will have heard the freight train at least go by my house. Every couple episodes.
Yes, but no passenger trains, right?
No, not on this line that goes by my house. It's just freight.
Nope.
I have to go about 20 minutes either north or south to get to the maybe 15 minutes to get to the passenger station.
That's it. I love trains. I love trains in any form or shape and stuff, but I don't go enough. This summer, I hope to go down to Denmark actually by train.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I'm even going abroad and using trains. There you have it. Right.
Cool. Well, I think this was enjoyable. These were topics that were submitted by comments on YouTube. If you guys have a random topic or a specific topic, we would really love to hear what
we can come up with. We always have an idea what we think, and then we can always use the cultural differences as well.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot to you three who gave us this.
Yep. And I think next episode we'll go back to a normal 2-topic mystery.
We are not normal, are we? Wrong. Thanks for listening out there.
Bye.